Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're with me for the first time, my name is Melissa Reed and I am a mixed media artist from Pennsylvania. So in front of me you see I have a gessoed board that is an 8 by 10 cradled panel, and there will be links to that and everything else that I'm using in the description for you. I'm going to be starting out with a new paint or new ink that I got. That's Liquitex turquoise. I have the Daler-Rowney turquoise, but this one is a little darker and more transparent. Really pretty. So it's been a while since I had a video with a big mess up in the middle, so you'll get to see that about halfway through, and I will point it out when you get there. But for right now, we're just going to get started. So I just have a piece of sheet plastic there and a piece of tissue paper that I am wrinkling up a little bit to make some texture. And I am going to just make a sheet of colored collage paper using that brand new turquoise and also some transparent raw sienna, which is also a Liquitex ink. And I'm just spraying that down with water, dropping a little bit of the ink on. I'm going to spray it with a little more water to spread it around, and then I will let that completely dry. If you've watched my videos, you've seen me do this technique before. It just makes some really interesting papers, and you can see all the different textures and little areas of color that causes. So I will bring that to you in just a moment when it has completely dried. And while that is working on drying, I'm going to start doing some work on the board itself. So what I have there is Liquitex Matte Gel Medium, and the other part of that piece of tissue paper, which I have also crumbled up, and I'm making sure that there are a lot of good wrinkles in there for the texture. And I'm gluing that down again with more of the matte medium on top of the paper just to make sure it's really good and adhered down there. And what that's going to do is create a very similar texture to the blue paper that you just watched me make, but it's just a different technique that you can use to get there, and I like to mix it up a little bit, and I wanted to show you different ways to achieve this. So this color, I am going to be mixing some yellow ochre and some Titan Buff, and I'm just going to use that same brush that had the matte gel medium on it. I'm just applying that there to the texture with that palette knife that I had mixed it up with, and I'm going in with that brush and just spreading it all around. Since there is already some matte medium on that brush, it's extending the paint a little bit, and I will go in and add just a little tiny bit of water to cover it up as much as I would like it to be. Now, I just went in while that tissue paper was still wet. You could go in after it dries. You don't need to. I wasn't particularly concerned with that because I just wanted to get it on there. Okay, so now that is that piece of blue paper that I made, and you can see that the texture is slightly different because all of the ink gathered in those veins that formed from the crinkling, and it made almost, I like to call that like a turtle shell pattern. That's kind of what it looks like to me. So what you're doing here is getting two different types of texture with the same piece, with the same kind of tissue paper. So I'm getting that guy glued down on top of the yellow. Thinking a little bit about composition and balance already, I adhered that down about 2/3 of the way so that you have a third of the board in the yellowish color and then the rest in the blue. My little trick that I like to use to trim is rather than waiting until everything dries, I will just go ahead and tear that tissue right off of the edge while it's damp from the matte medium. That's just a little shortcut you can take, and then I'll just smooth down any rough ends with my brush or even with my finger with a little bit more matte medium on it. Now to deepen that color, I'm going in with Amsterdam, I believe that is Prussian blue. I will double check that for you. It'll be in the description. And I am just dry brushing some of that over top. And because there is not just visual texture, but also literal texture from the crumpled up paper, it's hitting those high points and really emphasizing them, which is really pushing the visual texture even further. Now I did decide to go in with a little more of the transparent raw sienna Liquitex ink that I used to make that turquoise paper. And I'm, again, just dry brushing that over top of the yellow, and that's going to deepen everything a little bit. And again, that's just hitting those high points and really making everything stand out. As I'm working on this part, I just keep thinking how much it looks like leather with the color that I'm using and that texture from the crinkled tissue paper. It's just kind of cool and something that I am putting in the back of my mind for potential future use. Okay, so I have a 5x7 rectangle cut out of a piece of paper just to give myself a little bit of a visual cue there, and I'm marking it off and tracing with my ruler lines to get that rectangle onto the surface of my paper. What I'm envisioning here is a lighter blue colored field on top of what I have going on there, and it's going to extend from the blue area and down partially into the yellower area, and that's going to be the second layer of this mixed media piece. So I'm using some of that Prussian blue, and I'm going to be mixing it with a little bit of the Titan Buff and some titanium white, and you'll see me here fiddling with it for a while until I get the color that I'm seeing in my mind. One thing I'll mention while doing this, if you find that your colors are not harmonious sometimes and they just don't look quite right together, a really easy way to solve that problem is to use, so I'm going to say use the same color, but that's oversimplifying and not actually what I mean. I used the Prussian blue in the base on top of that turquoise paper, but I'm also using the Prussian blue in the top color that I'm mixing now. And because there's going to be some of the same color in both areas, it's going to make visual sense and be a little more harmonized. I hope that made sense. I feel like I didn't say it very well, but I think hopefully you'll get the gist of what I was saying there. Now I'm just using my 2-inch color shaper because it has that nice hard edge to go around and trace the edge of the rectangle that I made. In hindsight, I kind of wish I would have just used my painter's tape that I have to do this, because I ended up going back in, and you'll see in a minute, going over it with that anyway, because I lost a little of the sharpness and I really wanted that sharp edge on there. But it worked out fine this way too. So once I got all that paint on there the way that I wanted it, I will go in and fix that. You'll see here in just a moment. But for now, I'm taking my spray bottle and adding a little bit of water so that I can get some nice drips. And I also want the bottom to be less hard-edged and a little more faded off. And I'm just going to fiddle with that until I get it looking kind of the way that I want it. And you can see that I'm wiping a little bit and trying to harden up that edge with the paper towel, which worked a little bit, but I still wasn't entirely happy with it once it dried. So that's when I went in to kind of fix it a little bit. But first, what I'm going to do is just go in with that paper towel and kind of pull back some of the paint. It got a little too concentrated, I guess is the best word on there. So I'm going to use the paper towel as well as blotting a sheet of paper on top of it to remove some of the paint. And that'll reveal a little more of the background coming through, which is exactly the look that I was going for. Adding a little more water to it is going to help lift even more of that paint. And you can start to see some of that background come through. Now I went ahead and hit it with my hairdryer for just a moment or two to take the majority of that dampness out of there. And I'm going to mix some benzomidazoline yellow, and I'm going to put that on the top as my first layer, and then I'm going to mix it with a little bit of titanium white and go over it just to create some warm spots and light spots, almost like giving it a glow. And that's what you see me doing here. If you are adding wet paint on top of dry paint, a nice way to really get that to blend over the top is to use a dry brush, which I will do here in a moment to get some of that white blended out. If that's the look you're going for, you can get some really nicely blended effects doing it that way. I'm not super concerned about that. I just kind of want some areas of brightness and some areas of warmth, but I do end up going in with one of my dry brushes just to blend things a little tiny bit better. And you can see me going back into that blue here and there as well, because at one point I wasn't happy with the amount of yellow that I had on top of it. Just removing some of the paint there. And I'm starting to think about what my next step might be, because as I've mentioned in all of my videos, I am an intuitive artist, which means I don't really go into a piece with a fully formed idea. I like to let what's going on the surface of my substrate kind of inform my next step. I think it brings a visual spontaneity to the piece that I like as my own style. Okay, so I let everything dry here and I went in with some of my painter's tape because I decided I wanted those edges to be just a little bit harder. So I'm going to just go through again right along the edges, add a little bit more paint, and then take my dry brush and blend outward so that there's not just a very obvious line right there at the outer perimeter of that rectangle. And again, you can see here as I'm using that, that brush, I am really just blending over top of the layers that are already there. Adding lots of layers to a piece like this, it adds such a beautiful visual depth that you just really can't get any other way. And I just love the way it looks. And you can always spray some water and blot to take some of it off if you feel the intensity is too much, but it just adds some really beautiful layering. And you can see when I lift up this tape, I've got that nice hard edge that I was wanting. And it didn't lift up anything that was laid down on the surface. This is a relatively low tack tape. I'll put a link to that as well for you. I got it on Amazon and it works really nice because it's got a low tackiness to it. So it's not going to pull anything up, but it really does keep the paint from bleeding underneath. All right, so now this is all completely dried and I'm going in with some collage. These are just random scraps of collage paper and pieces of collage paper that I had laying around. Now, this is where you see me mess up because I thought for sure I had pressed record on my camera and apparently I didn't because the whole next part did not get recorded, but you'll see here in a second what I did. I'm going to be using some of my favorite collage paper that I make, which you can see part of it sitting over there underneath my right hand. And the next clip that comes up, it's going to already be on the canvas. It's that style of paper that I have there. I ended up trying out a few different papers before I went ahead and glued everything down. That's what you see me doing there, just auditioning things. And this is what I ended up after I had it glued down, but you can see I did not unfortunately have that recorded, but all I did was glue down some strips of this collage paper. If you're interested in seeing how I made that, I will put that video in the end tiles for you to check out. I have a couple different videos where I made that. Okay, so I have some laser prints that I found that I had gotten printed a long time ago, and I decided I wanted to add a bird to the piece because it's been a while. So I'm just using Liquitex Mars Black on my 8x10 Jelly Arts gel plate, brayering that on. If you have an issue getting your laser prints to transfer, lay a very thin coat of paint down, brayer it until you can just start to see through. And when you lay your pickup paper down, lay it down, rub your hand over it for about 5 to 7 seconds and lift it back up. I guarantee if you do those, make those two changes, you're going to have a lot greater success rate with getting your transfers to work, either from magazine images or from laser prints. I used to have a very low success rate getting those to print, but when I learned those two things, and I'm not saying I never, you know, it never messes up for me, but I would say it's about 95% better getting those to work out. That was some matte medium that I laid down because I want to pick this up without a colored background, and I'm picking it up with another piece of tissue paper. Just going over that with a cool hair dryer until I feel that it is no longer damp. I wasn't sure which of these birds I was going to use, so I decided just to print all of them, and then I would have those sheets ready for another. Going through the same process, I'm laying down my black paint, and you're going to see me brayer that until you can just start to kind of see through to the other side. I always put way too much paint on to start and then have to brayer it off, but you can just sort of see it. I'm laying my print down and pulling it up. And that took, like I said, definitely no more than 10 seconds, because if you do it too long, then the paint will pick up back off of the image again, and you'll end up with either nothing on your gel plate, or if you end up with still too much paint on your gel plate, then you just had too much paint on there to start with. So if you find you're having issues with that, try those two things, and I will bet that you will find some success. So I'm getting him dried off, and then I'm going to lay down more of the matte medium. I didn't lay down quite enough this time, so you'll see me add just a little bit more here in a second. And I'm going to go ahead and once I get the paper laid down, that's going to be tissue paper. Again, just regular tissue paper. I'm not using the wet strength right now. We're going to go ahead there and get him dried and peeled up. If you noticed me using the painter's tape on the gel plate, that was just to lift up some extra paint that I did not want on there. You can also use a damp cloth. And here are our prints. So I'm looking to see which bird I might want on there, and I do end up going with this larger one. I think he worked out a little bit better. I just really like the shape. I like the direction that he's facing. It all kind of just worked out. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tear the other bird out as well and just kind of see what it looks like, but I don't really think that it fit very well. Both in size and also just in the scope of what I was looking for the piece. It's a cool looking bird, and it will definitely get used in something, but it's just not going to be what I do for these two, for this piece here. So I will save those and we'll use them in something else. So I'm spraying a little bit of water on there because I want to see how transparent that's going to be, how much I'm going to be able to see underneath it when I get it glued down. It's a little trick that I do sometimes, and it was pretty good. So I'm just adding some more of my matte medium down there, and I'm getting him positioned where I want him. And just going in with a brush, and I'm making sure that I have enough medium on there to get him stuck down really well. Now what I'm doing here is using that brush to kind of trim away a little bit of the extra paper that's on there, because it is tissue paper, and now that it's wet from the matte medium, it is very pliable and it will tear very easily. So I'm just removing excess where I didn't want it. What's on there is going to be pretty transparent, pretty translucent, I should say, but not completely transparent. And I don't mind that on the right-hand side. I think it actually adds a little bit of interest in another layer, but I wanted it to be closer up to the shape of the bird on the left-hand side, so I just removed a little bit more. Now I am going to go in with some black paint around the edges, but here's what we ended up with. I think it's super cool. I love this color combo. You know that. If you've watched my videos, you see me use these colors and that collage paper that I love all the time. And I like the way it came together. I think the composition is strong in this one, and you'll have to let me know what you think. But thank you guys so much for joining me again today. And if you liked what you saw, and if you could give me a thumbs up and hype me out so that others can find my video, I would really appreciate it. If you haven't had a chance yet, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to check out my Etsy shop. I will put a link on the screen here now, but also in the description for you as well. and I hope you have a wonderful week. I'll see you back here next Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time for another video.